Hello, everyone. This is going to be Tim's training session day two. Didn't really plan too much today. I just wanted to kind of keep going over round starts with him. He kind of recorded some gameplay. We're going to go over that. We're also going to watch some better player gameplay, and we're going to talk about what they're doing on round start versus what he's doing on round start. And then the next training session, we're probably going to start playing some games with him or watching him play some games and kind of coaching him through that. I do want to kind of drill round starts in. So, it's something for him to work on at the moment, and then we could continue on from there. So, let us go on and get in the call with Tim. Yeah. All right. How do you feel about round starts? Like, have you been trying to improve on those at all, or have you been approaching that?
So for the tournament today, I think I did a lot better job being being more aggressive, being more confident around starts.
Mm-hmm.
It was really funny when I was playing against Teru,
Mm-hmm.
which is probably what we'll watch mostly today.
Yep.
Um, I'm playing the game and then I'm like super focused on all the other aspects of the game. And then by game five, I'm like pretty sure I've like backdash five rounds in a row. Like it's so easy. Like when you're focusing on a ton of other stuff, just how simple it is. Like like I'm already back to my old habits.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's a lot of games in these sets where you'll find that I start acting super defensive again. But
Yeah.
every now and again, I'd be like, wait, I'm acting defensive. Let's do something.
No, I think like obviously you've been playing Strive for what 2 years now, or a year ish, year and a half
I've
ish.
been I well I've played it since release, but
Yeah.
I've taken like long like
Yeah.
6 month gaps.
Yeah, so a lot of what you're doing is probably muscle memory, right? Like, I've had this issue before where just like, okay, I need to do this, but I keep doing this. It's like you just have to keep reminding yourself until like you eventually break the habit, or you eventually don't default to it because sometimes habits are habits, and like in a situation where you like turn your brain off or are scared, you go back to your habits. But in a situation where you're not like that, you won't default back to your like more bad habits. You'll just go and do like what you think is good, because you're kind of thinking more. So let's kind of go and watch this, and then I do want to just like we talked about round starts, and like we didn't kind of go over good round starts because I'm not a May player. So I was like, we could watch like 10 minutes of this. We kind of talk about the matches a little bit, or 10-15 minutes of this, and then we could watch like 10, 15, 20 minutes of, um, you know, really good May players and kind of pick up what they're doing, and then we could kind of try implementing that, as we play the next time, right? I think Wednesday is probably our next session. We'll probably go over playing the game, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds
Yeah,
good.
sweet. So let us get in. Let's slightly put the volume on here so we have some volume. Okay, we're taking forever to load in. The classic. The classic Eagle. Alright. I've made this longer. Oh, we started with 5K, which is pretty good. Alright. So yeah, kind of like I don't know, like if you are or trying to like implement right away, like okay, I gotta do something right away or not. But like this is something I don't really see you do much. Like just like start off the fucking set just like swinging, which is pretty good. So I won't be going into like too specifics of what you're doing. I kind of want to go over some like just smaller stuff and then going over some what you're doing on round start if that's fine.
That sounds good. Yeah.
Okay. Nice backdash. You kind of fucked that up. It's cool. Um, okay. And got parried. Let's see the next round start. Uh, What'd you end up doing there? 5K again, right? I think that was.
I think so. I would assume either 5K or microdash 5K, but either way.
Okay, sweet. I
Yeah, that
don't
looks like
know
5K.
why Vikings / beat it. 5K should be 7.
I may have just delayed it a little
Okay.
bit.
Yeah. But either way, these are good round starts. Oh, nice pickup. Um, you might want to. Let me get my headphones. Sorry, my AirPods ran out of battery. Give me 1 second. Let me switch to my
You're big chilling.
headphones. Do you hear me? Hello.
Yeah, I hear you.
All right, sweet. All right. So I think first off, what we probably on a 5K seems to be doing good for you. I think you got like a combo off of it in neutral at some point during this, and it seems to be a really good round start for May. I think we could just see that from playing without watching stuff. So you either could watch other pro players and see what conversions they get off 5K, or you could maybe there's a combo video out there for it. But we like 5K right now, right? I think 5K is doing pretty good for you, like right there, right? That was a good combo. I'm not sure if you could have extended it more or not, but that was a good conversion.
Yeah, and I did mess around with soul round starts a little bit. And
Mm-hmm.
like the thing that 5K did is it
Mm-hmm.
won a lot of round starts, but it was very small payoff. It was
Yeah.
like, oh, cool, 5K into 3K, 5K into a little bit extra pressure. Like nothing big, but like,
Yeah.
in a tournament setting, it's like, hey, I kind of want to win. I
Mm-hmm.
felt like that was really good.
Yeah. No, exactly. Because there's a lot of low committal stuff and there's a lot of high committal stuff. It's probably low committal, low reward, but like, maybe Soul doesn't have the best way of dealing with it. You could kind of find that out as you play. Okay, I do like a little more aggression here. This is really cool. I think that I see you doing this. I feel like I wouldn't have seen you doing this before. Um, just swinging right there, right? Like you shouldn't let this person, um, just reset you forever, right? So like just being open to swinging there is pretty good, and like obviously you're gonna die sometimes, but you want to find the points where you're swinging, and it seems like you're finding some good points. Um, so nice 6P. Oh, sweet, nice. Okay, sweet. If we could have converted that completely, like that's great. I already see that you're doing like 100% better on round start. Like I don't think I've seen you up back once so far. Like I think 3 round starts and you've done something every time, and two out of the three you won. Right? Let's say you were able to get a better combo off, the first and second one, and like your offense was a little better afterwards. Like those could have been just 2 rounds you just snowballed, right? So like we already see like pretty good payoff just being like a little more aggressive round start, not letting people just take advantage of you. All right. Mm-mm. Oh, we're just getting bike into here. That's okay. All right. Let's see what the next round starts looking like. Mm-mm. Honestly, that backdash wasn't too bad. Like, you've presented 2 round starts, which you won, right? And both of those were the use of 5K, right? So like honestly, like Tarumi had a pretty good read here. Like, okay, they just got a big reward off 6P. They pressed 5K. If I do walk back 2H, it should whiff punish whatever they're trying to do around start, right? So honestly, doing this wasn't too bad in this situation at all because like this was a really good response from Tarumi here. Like, okay, like I've been punished round start twice, and this is what I'm talking about. That you're gonna get other people thinking, right? You won 2 round starts already. This is huge in like the mind games, right? Drummy's like, okay, fuck, I've lost round start twice. What can I do to kind of fix that issue? And you've already have them going from, You press 5K, they probably press like 6H or 2S or something silly. Not silly, but like, something like that. They switch to far slash. You beat far slash, right? You've RPS correctly. You did something. They had a counter to it. You did something else, that beat it. Now they're trying to have a counter to this thing you beat, right? So, like, this is a great switch up from Terumi, but, like, this isn't bad either. Like, let's say you, like, completely plan this all together. Like, okay, I'm going to do walk back, wait for them to whiff 2H, and then whiff punish. Like, this would have been a great response to, like, what you're thinking they would do, right? So, I don't even mind that walk back, but, like, a little more, like, if you're thinking more like that, I know you just did it, but, like, I think the last two things you did were pretty planned, were like the 6P and the 5Ks. That, like, that one was actually pretty good, but, like, you just had to have more purpose around it, and then you would have, like, actually, like, done pretty good. And again, like, these are all things that, like, are making you stronger already. So, like, it's pretty good to see. Um, but even walk back far slash um, is still like a little more active than walk back block. So, like, we take the activeness here. Oh, nice conversion. Hmm. Okay, that was a pretty good round. I think you just fucked up the combo and then fucked up the setup afterwards. So, oh, I didn't see the round start here. Okay. And again, this is what I'm saying. Like, most good players are going to kind of respond to the last thing you did until you start mixing it up, right? You've done backdash, far slash. Terumi's like, okay, you did backdash last round start. I'm just going to go ahead and counter that one next, right? And again, like, Terumi could, like, mind game it and be like, okay, maybe I go back to far slash because they are doing this back. They did this dash thing that time. They're probably gonna go 5K this time again or something, right? But they just are kind of like going ahead and trying to beat what you did last time, and they're doing that with Kabari, and that's kind of why you kind of like the backdash wasn't bad, but again, like, being a little more aggressive there with like what you want to do might be a little bit better because
Yeah, I think
yeah.
the next set of stretches, I think that's where I go brain dead and just
Mhm.
like, all right, let's backdash now. I think that's what's happening.
Yeah, because like what I want to see more of, just choosing the thing that worked a little more times, right? Because you do 6P, right? You do 6P and, like, it beats the far slash, right? Now you're forcing the issue on Terumi, right? And if they don't have an answer to the 6P, then you could respond to that. But I kind of want to see more committal to, like, okay, what was the last thing that worked? I'm going to do that again, see if they have a response to that. And if they don't have a response, then you kind of already locked in, right? You're like, nice. And then, like, once they show that response, then you can start kind of playing with mixing a lot more things up. Because if you're just going to stick to, um, if you're just going to keep throwing out like random stuff, like, it doesn't bode well with like what they think you're gonna do. They're just gonna go for like higher risk stuff because they're gonna be like, well, like, if it doesn't make sense anyway, I'm just gonna go for it. Like, if you've shown something that worked already, you just have to make sure they could counter it first before, like, you completely switch it up. And maybe you are giving a lot of credit to the player, right? Because they're a good player, but, like, like, you gotta treat people kind of the same sometimes until, like, they've proven otherwise. Nice. That round start wasn't bad. Walk back far slash. I wouldn't do, because I think you did backdash. I would do walk back more than backdash personally. If I were you. Here, let's go here. I do walk back more than backdash here, specifically for this reason. Tarumi. Oh, you did walk back. Okay, you just didn't react time fast enough. It's okay. It's a fast far slash. You can't really react anyway. I think the one before that you did backdash. Mm-mm.
No, but the idea is just like if your backdash you're locked, so it's like,
Yeah,
oh, they
yeah,
pressed the dumb button. I have
hmm
to watch them and then do whatever.
yeah, exactly. But no, that was a good walk back. That was a good walk back. I think I was thinking about the one before that. Uh, oh shit.
I literally texted him. I'm like, bro, that 5H was actually criminal. I was like, that was insane.
Nice. Okay, let's see what the round start is. 2S, really good. I like that a lot. Because I think Tarumi kind of sees that you like backdashing a lot, so like they're gonna start doing 2S and they're gonna start doing Kabari, right? The 2S is really good there. Um, but I do like like I'm obviously saying like, oh, you gotta keep switching it up. You gotta make sure. But like obviously we just talked about this a couple days ago, and this game was like what 2 days after we talked about it or something. So like I'm just kind of like really I enjoy I'm enjoying seeing the more aggressive round starts from you, like doing 2S XP, like even though they are like maybe random, not intentional sometimes and whatnot, we can still talk about them in an intentional way, if that makes sense. Like, okay, like you doing this here was really good because of X reason, and then you could kind of like you know learn a little bit from it, if that makes sense. Mm-mm, mm-mm. Okay. Mm-mm. You're getting cooked by this Kabari. That's that's one thing we could probably figure out. Yeah, I like the 2S you're doing there. You're just getting cooked sometimes on the stagger pressure, which is pretty good. The stagger pressure is pretty good. Oh, oh nice. Nice, nice. Alright, let's see. Okay, that was a little wild. I will not lie. Doing walk back 6K is a little bit wild. So
I definitely think it was a misinput, but to be sincere, I don't remember what I was trying to do. Like,
okay,
yeah, but I remember I
that's
was
fine.
like, oh, okay. Oh no, I bet you. You know what I was trying to do? I was trying to do like something really dumb and whatever, because
Mm-hmm.
6K will beat 2S.
Okay.
So I don't know why I walked back. Like I would assume I would just like call out 2S and try to 6K, but I guess halfway through walking back, I was like, you know what? Nah, he's gonna do it. Watch.
No, that's fair. I do like that you're contesting the Kabari delays and stuff. That's pretty good. Um, yeah, yeah. No, I'm liking 5K a lot. I like your use of 5K a lot because it keeps pressure, right? 'Cause that's another thing with round starts. Like you don't want to just throw out a 6P and that ends your turn, right? Like if you could do like 5K into 6H, I think that's what that move is. You're cooking, right? You're like, oh, nice. I get to basically like get some plus frames here, and like maybe do a dolphin and put you into dolphin RPS. That's pretty important to it. So your 5K is looking pretty good for you right now. Um, okay, we're going wild. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Watch a little bit more. Again, like backdash isn't bad all the time. I don't want you put that impression into your head. I just like, in a learning perspective where we're trying to figure out like, what we could do to beat certain situations. Throwing out buttons is definitely pretty good, but doing backdash is great. Like, just get yourself out the fuck way. Sometimes it's good. Um,
No, it's just one of those things where like it's
mhm.
good to present the option so they have to think about it, but like when
Yeah,
it's the only option I present, it's like
yeah.
okay, I don't have to think about it. I just got to press a button that'll beat backdash.
Yep. And there's a lot of characters that do have buttons that beat backdash pretty well. Like, Kabari for biking is really good. So let's yep, we do backdash again. And again, like I do understand like you're like fuck, I'm getting cooked, like, what do I do? And like backdash is just always like the save option in your head. Or at least like the habitual option. Like, if you do it out of habit a lot. Um so um it's fine. But in this set, like around this point, you've been like, "Fuck! Like, what buttons am I losing to?" type thing, and then you could kind of like try throwing stuff out from there. And again, like losing to far slash isn't bad, right? Because then you could be like, because then you could test, right? Like again, like a lot of practice against like players, especially better players, is like, okay, they're punishing me, like. When Terumi's gonna get counter hit, far slash on you, or some type of 2H counter hit, or whatever. They're gonna, or like Meeks or something. They're just gonna, they're gonna kill you, right? Like they're gonna do a lot of damage. So you can kind of like now assess the risk reward, right? Like, okay, if I fuck with this button from them, I'm gonna take this much from like a good player, right? And then you're just like, okay, like, and you want to make sure your options that you're choosing against that one option that they're doing is pretty safe, right? um, because you don't want to be like, okay, I'm going to take 70%. Like, for example, like Shishizu, right? Like, when we went over the Nago stuff, my thing was, okay, if you get hit by a Shizu, you're going to die. So, this is like one of the best things to learn in RPS wise against Shizu, because if you don't know how your RPS are on Shizu, Nagos will kill you. And, like, it'll be pretty free for them to do so. And like that's the things you should be kind of viewing against a lot of characters. Like which button of theirs is their best button that they're gonna kill me off of round start, and from there I could now base what I want to do RPS wise. Like if you're just gonna take 10 damage, it's not too scary. Like I said, you want to like make sure you counter their option that kills you and have a good response to it. Um, So we'll watch one more round and we'll kind of go to see where some of good players are, what some good players are doing. I don't think you're doing too bad against Tarumi either, by the way. Yeah, that 5K is doing a lot of work from you. It's just now, right? Like I think you've established like at this point that okay, you're gaming from 5K. You just have to like figure out what you're going to do after you hit it, right? Either you get a combo or the combo needs to lead to a setup, right? This seems to be one of your best round starts in a lot of situations that we could see from, just this match alone. If that makes sense. Oh.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Cool. Oh, you're gaming the tether. The tether backfire. Nice back throw. And again, while presenting backdash, right? Like this is not a great round start for Biken, right? Like in like the repertoire of Biken round starts, like far slash is pretty good just because like like it's really fast. Doing Kabari is kind of slow. It's meant to catch backdash, right? If you kind of like are RPSing with backdash, great, right? You're gonna force them to have to do Kabari at some point, which is not good for them. And then you could start putting in options that are gonna beat Kabari. So that's kind of like how I want you to like eventually think about round starts. It's like, okay, I can present backdash because I want them to eventually do X move, And since I have, 5K, which beats both Kabari and Far Slash or 2H or whatever else it beats, I'm not too sure. This is some stuff you're going to have to lab. Well, now, since I presented Backdash, they're going to be forced at some point in our set to use Kabari against me, right? And since they're forced to use Kabari against me, essentially, if I'm not spamming backdash, eventually I'm going to get to a point where me pressing 5K against Kabari will kill them, if that makes sense. Like, or it will win round start. Like, you want to put enough options in their head to have them make bad decisions, right? Like Kabari all the time is a bad decision. Kabari sometimes is a good decision to catch what you're expecting to catch, which is a backdash, right? But if you could press something that stuffs it and stuffs other moves, well, now you've like increased your chances of winning round start, right? Like as much as round start is even, the more you put into the other person's head about what you could do round start, the better it is for you. Because now you could clump your options up and be like, okay, I can press this button, this button, this button, and it beats these options. I presented these options, which forces them to do, X, Y, Z, and those all get beat by this one option I've chosen. So now this one option becomes more high probability that I will win my round start, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Sweet. And like, going over some of these matches, I mean, I don't want to go too deep into like actual, match analysis on what's going to happen. A lot of like, your issues seem to be like, example right there, right? Great counter hit combo that you got, or a great counter hit there, right? Like this could have turned the tides of the game, but you've just kind of like fucked up your combo a bit. And again, it's a weird hit, but like the more comfortable you come with your character and like figuring out situations, like that could have been an easy like 30% plus burst when like you ended up not getting anything. So like a lot of like like you aren't playing bad. It's more of like you're playing inconsistent, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Sweet. All right. Well, we'll kind of go from there, and we'll kind of watch a couple May videos and kind of see how round start goes for them. Like see where they're winning round start and what kind of combos they're doing, and like like maybe some stuff you could mimic, right? Because like when we're getting better, we don't know everything. I don't know everything. We're gonna want to see what other people that kind of went through the process have figured out, right? So okay, we start out with Far Slash, which is pretty good on May, right? Like that's pretty standard, right? Like you're just like, I'm gonna hit my Far Slash, and I'm gonna try beating yours, like, or I'm gonna try beating what you do. And there you go, nice little combo there. Oh shit. Okay.
No, that's crazy because when I saw them whiff the dolphin, that actually sucks a lot because if you whiff that dolphin,
Yeah.
like you can basically are begging to get grabbed there.
Yeah, he did
But using the
Dolphin.
super, that was kind of crazy.
Yeah, I think so. Like this was actually a really good application. So May did Far Slash last time, right? That was the round start. Ram's Far Slash is good, but 5K smokes it, 6P smokes it. So Ram is going to do an option that kind of beats both of those, right? They're like, okay, they know I did Far Slash last time. So this Maze already kind of went into like layer two, right? They're going to do jump, make them whiff, and then just hit them there. Again, that may be a little too advanced for what you're doing, right? Like you're not really trying to call out people's like level two options already. You're just trying to call out like the really good level one ones, right? But like that's just something to think about. Like okay, like this guy's using 6P. Like this is how you should think about it, right? Like instead of thinking like okay, I'm never gonna be into that layer. It's like okay, if I'm getting smoked by this Ram 6P, or if I'm getting smoked by X player 6P, what can I do to beat that? If this guy's doing with JD to throw off timing and then doing that, like that, not too bad to like kind of consider at some points. I didn't know that was a safe jump.
I didn't either.
Mm-mm. This man's pretty good. Who's this?
No, I love you.
You?
I
Yeah.
love you.
Yeah, this man's pretty good. So this is also another good one, right? Like you could I want to kind of like explain like what's going through these players' minds. We did jump last time, right? From the Mace perspective, Rams gonna do something that's probably gonna beat jump because they're like crap, like that was actually pretty good. So now, like you thinking like, okay, they did 6P last time, they didn't get fully punished for it. I wouldn't doubt they go for it again, right? And this is kind of where the layers come in, right? So you goes for the 2S, which is perfectly viable. On it goes for the I'm gonna beat the jump, right? Because this is what this does. It beats jump. U's going for I'm gonna beat 6P, right? And you can kind of see like the players are doing the thing that beats the last thing, basically, right? Like they're not really going like, what'd you do 3 times yet, right? Because it's a shorter set. Like we're just kind of like, okay, what'd you do last time? Am I gonna bet you're gonna do it again? If you do it again, I have the tools to beat it. That's kind of where like the knowledge kind of comes in, right? Both of them knew exactly what to beat from the other player from the last round start. They're presenting that to each other, right? We keep watching. Maybe we could find some cool tech. And exactly. This was like basically the hit you got last time, right? What I showed you, like, oh, you're just kind of fucking up conversions a lot. Like this is kind of very similar to the like hit you got. So like copying a combo like this, obviously he fucking drops it when I'm talking about it, but
May's hard, I promise, bro.
but but like that's like a good thing where it's like, okay, I got this hit a couple times. I've seen you get up dolphin hit like in air a couple times and counter hit. Like it's good to be like, okay, I've failed the conversion 3 times. Let me find out if there's a conversion behind this, and then you could kind of like make yourself a little more consistent that way. Like getting random hits is pretty good to convert off of, just because like so random hit into 40%, like we take those, you know. Oh, we're not mashing there on RAM? No meter? You're crazy. I'm mashing there every time. I guess that's why I'm not number 2 May though. So yeah, let's see what the round start was. And again, we got out like, put in perspective. He did something to beat 6P last time. He did something to beat jump last time. So we go. Okay, so we went back to default, right? We've presented a lot of all options. This RAM has not, kind of came ahead in round start for a while, right? So in my head, I'm like, fuck, I haven't won a round start in a while. Let me go in a little more defensive, right? Let me see what they're going to present to me, and then I could kind of, fix what I'm going to do later, right? And the May just, goes back to default. They're like, okay, we kind of ran through the ringer of like I do something, you do something, I do something, you do something. So let me just go back to default far slash, which is fine, right? Like the only thing that'll probably beat far slash at that point is probably like 6P, and the May's already shown the May's already shown that they've done something to beat 6P twice, right? The Ram going for another 6P there would be really insane because there's no reason to, right? Because there's like, okay, they've already shown me 2 things to beat 6P. I didn't need to beat 6P, so like you going for that far slash was a lot less risky than like you probably think it is because the Ram did two 6Ps in a row last time. Like a competent player wouldn't just go, you know what, a third one would be great here, you know. That was a hard ass bait. He stood there for a minute. And like we go back to far slash, right? And then like that this is kind of like how you is doing like really good in this kind of like RPS war. It's like, okay, we went for 6P 2 times in a row, then we didn't go for 6P. He's like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it again, see if they far slash again, right? And then you know what, he does something to beat 6P again. So like that's kind of like how you could be kind of like in like like you is winning the mind games in this situation for round start. Like round start, he's doing pretty well. Um, and he doesn't get too much round start here, but like if that burst didn't happen, we probably got full combo. So like like I think all the round starts he got, I think even this one where he got far slash, he was able to put them in a funny spot. It was the next one. Or do we just far slash do nothing? Oh, okay, we're back here. Okay, I'm not gonna go back, but we'll go here. Okay. Okay. But again, like we see the round starts that Yu's going for. He seems to be going for a little more committal stuff. I was expecting more 5Ks and stuff, but I don't know if Yu's like more tower player or tournament player or not. I'm guessing more tower. But like 2S, far slash, jump H, like those are really like high reward moves, right? On May, so we could kind of assume that he's just going for some more high reward plays, but he's still playing the RPS, right? He's trying to beat the 6Ps, he's trying to beat what the other player is throwing at them. And like they do have that in mind while they're playing. Okay. So let's go ahead and watch another one. This one's Slash, which we know is a competitive player. Okay, and this is against a Bikin, so we can kind of see how Slash is kind of approaching the situation. So yeah, backdash, not backdash, but walk back and run up forward is fine. That was a very conservative, level one, right? Like we didn't want to throw everything at the door and do like something like far slash right away, but we see the 5K conversions. We'll probably watch like one more after this because I think, oh my god, these Kara supers. I didn't even know that was possible. I'm not gonna lie. Again, Slash doesn't do anything. He's kind of just waiting for his opponent to do something pretty risky. So we're not going too crazy on round start. And again, like waiting for your opponent to do something risky is fine, right? But it's not fine all the time. Like Slash is just assuming they're not gonna like, do something super super wild into him. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna keep looking at round starts because it's a little more interesting right now. Alright, so we finally commit to far slash there because they kind of didn't do anything too crazy, but far slash is still pretty conservative. Would have got him big reward, but that's that delay we were talking about last time in our other ones, right? Like close slash into 2D as a frame trap, right? And then we get a full combo off of it, and you could kind of like maybe mimic this combo, right? Like it'd be great to get fucking what is this 70% off a combo if you finish that combo with 70%, like 70-80% depending on if super or not. So it's definitely stuff you want to keep in mind while watching these players that like are better. And he did that to bait burst, right? That H dolphin there. Because if they bursted off that, he would have blocked. Nice. Just takes a gold burst. Oh, it doesn't RC. Okay. Let's see what the round start is. Alright, we just dolphin. We just they did the reason we dolphin there is because they did backdash, right? Every character has something that beats backdash. The other person did backdash last time. Slash found a response to backdash, which is dolphin, right? And if it was blocked, dolphin has RPS around it, so we're fine with it being blocked. Like that's the thing. Like you don't want to like throw out something that is going to completely ruin your whole game plan, right? Like if the thing you're doing is going to leave you at a bad spot, you don't want to do it. But doing dolphin isn't, it's committal because it'll lose to like 6p and you might get counter hit out of it, but it's not so committal that like you know after you've done it you've lost your turn. You know, like you still get to play. And again, like this round start, right? You're like, okay, why'd he do jump here, right? Well, he did dolphin last time, right? So we could only assume that Crash TF, this is the guy I lost to at Breaker, by the way. You could always assume Crash TF is going to do something that beats Dolphin, right? Because he presented Dolphin because he presented Backdash. So we're going to do something a little more conservative if they try doing Dolphin again, you know, far slash 6p. So slash is doing something that will beat both far slash and 6p, and you could probably see, you know, you see it right here. And again, like this thing that beats 6p, he could have done something way more wild, right? But if Crash TF blocks it or chooses something not so committal, boom, you know, it's just simple block strings that he's going to do. And like, you know, like simple strike throw that he's going to put you through. Oh, nice. Okay. That probably would have killed him. I'm not going to lie if he just finished the combo. But it would have been really close to killing. Probably go next here. Okay. And then, you know, boom, right? Like, you could kind of see the development of how round start works. Like, I could probably keep talking about it, but last time they did something like far slash and 6p to beat Dolphin, and then so they did something like far slash or 6p to beat Dolphin. He did jump to beat whatever their round start was, right? So the logical conclusion is, okay, if they're going to do jump, maybe I meet them air to air, right? And slash is going to do 2s, you know, just in case they stick with the 6p and far slash, right? You don't know if your opponent is going to switch or stay on it, right? Because if you've switched every time, sometimes they're going to assume you're going to switch, but also they could assume you're going to stay on it. So slash picks the option of 2s to beat, you know, like hard beat 6p or 6p. So, you know, they did jump, you know, and it ended up being not so committal. So like that's kind of how you want to kind of think about it. And like again, like this is pretty far in the layers of like what you're gonna do and like how you're going to kind of structure your round starts and stuff. But like that's kind of what's going through players' minds. Like, okay, he did this last time. What is something I could do to beat a couple options, based off what they're doing? Okay, let's see if we get another round started. Boom. Okay, yeah, we just go for the non-committal run forward and just kind of scoping out what they did. Because maybe like Slash is like, okay, they did jump last time. It's pretty confusing, okay? Let me just do something less committal, right? No button. Let me just kind of scope out what they're doing because they did jump, right? And then you could probably assume based off that jump that something here is going to maybe catch jump. There you go, right? Exactly. Like I could have assumed what was going to happen there. We've done jump 2 times in a row. Slash is like, okay, I'm just going to meet you air to air, right? Because jump hasn't not been working for Crash. It hasn't been killing him. So he's going to just do it again. You know, like he's going to put it on Slash to make the decision like, okay, are you going to meet me air to air? Do you know what to do here? And if you don't, like, I'll kill you for it. You know? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Cool. And it's probably be the last one we watch because you know we could go into like another one and it'd probably be like kind of like the same kind of like back and forth. But again, a lot of this stuff you're going to need to kind of figure out which buttons beat what and kind of know how to respond to what your opponent is doing. And again, like all of those round starts from Slash had a purpose, right? Like I've kind of explained the purpose as we were watching, but they all had a purpose. Like they weren't useless, if that makes sense. Like they were just there, you know, like they weren't just I'm gonna press a random button and hope it works. It was like I'm going to take into account what you've done this set, and then I'm going to base my round start off of that. And none of them were just like, yeah, I'm just going to throw out this big high risk, high reward button and call it a day. Like he didn't do 5H round start and try killing you in any of those, because like it's too risky. It ends his, it might end his turn. Like, what's the point of it, right? He kind of just tried beating the last option, and then once it got to a point where maybe he beat the option twice, then he could throw in something different that beats a lot of more options or beats a lot of the options they've chose throughout the set. And yeah, is there any questions about what I said?
No, it all kind of seems to make sense. The one thing that's kind of funny, and it just kind of clicked for me right now, is just like literally we're playing rock paper scissors,
No,
right? It's like, oh,
yes,
he picked rock. Oh,
yes.
do you think he's gonna pick rock again, or do you think he's gonna think that I'm gonna pick paper and try to combat that? Right? At the end of the day, it's like it really is just kind of like whether you're staying at that level one and like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, he's not beating rock. I'm just gonna keep presenting rock. It's like
Mm-hmm.
or you can go further where it's like, oh, okay, he's gonna think I'm gonna do rock, which means he's gonna do paper to try to beat it, which means I need to do scissors to beat that. It's really just as, and that's the thing, you can condition your opponent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like kind of like I also think of like corner situation. It's like no way he's gonna grab 3 times, right? It's like
Mm-hmm.
if I do the same situation, it works and it works.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time they're gonna be like, oh, he's gonna switch because he's gonna know that I'm gonna switch. And it's just like, no, that's the game, right? The game is like I'm not just pressing a cool button round start. It's like, no,
Yeah.
I kind of want to get in your head, get you to doubt yourself. And then it's like, great, you're doubting yourself on round start. It's like, who knows what you're thinking about during the actual game. It's like now you're just obsessed with, man, every game I start out breaking through the glass and like positive bonus against me,
Yeah.
half damage dead, and so
No.
it's just like it really is just like setting the tone. Like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah.
Yeah, and exactly what you said. Like it is rock paper scissors, right? Let's do rock. Do you see my screen? No, you don't. Let me share my screen. It is like rock paper scissors, right? Like rock scissors. This is a scissor, and then paper, right? But it's like a little more than that, right? Like this is rock, and we color it in, so we know it's rock. And this is paper.
This is gorgeous, by the way.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. But like it's also like weighted, right? Like let's say you have a button. Let's say your 5K, right? Let's say your 5K is rock, right? This is example. We're not gonna like use that. And you're playing against let's say soul, right? This is soul. Playing soul, right? If your rock beats, let's say 60% of like level one round start options, right? It becomes less rock, paper, scissors, more of weighted rock, paper, scissors, right? The chances of rock being a good option becomes higher, right? And you could always seem to choose rock and you'll come out ahead, right? But the soul now has other options where it's like, okay, if you're going to choose this 60% option, again, this is pretty deep in like how RPS works. So, like, I just want to kind of like present this to you just so, like, you know, pretty interesting to see. It's like, okay, if soul knows, this is all if all knowing, right? If the soul has no idea, then let's say your 5K gets you like 60% breaks wall, everything like that, right? If the soul knows you are going to be at a 60% chance to choose rock because it is your best option against a lot of his buttons, well, then his now weighted rock, paper, scissors is different, right? Like, let's say his far slash is really good, gets him a lot of options. Let's do far slash here, FS. His far slash is really good, gets him a lot of options, but his 2S, but loses to your 5K, loses, you know, loses to 5K. But his 2S doesn't get him a lot of reward, but beats your 5K, for example, right? Well, even though Soul's usual 60% is this, he has to now switch the weight up and, use 2S more, something he won't use to beat your 5K, right? And like then, maybe you have something that beats 2S but doesn't do too well against a lot of his other moves. Then it becomes like this like which button do I use type thing. It becomes more weighted like okay, my 5K is really good in all most situations here. If I've conditioned him to press this 2S button, go back to my one option that I use 15% of the time, you know, because it beats his 2S, and then go back to 5K, you've kind of skewed the RPS in your favor, right? Because now you have this move that you use 60% of the time that is really good. And you have this move that you use 15% of the time that's not too good. It doesn't give you too good a reward, but it will stop Soul from using 2S. That beats your move that gives you so much advantage against Soul. Well, like that's kind of how you have to think about like RPS in a way. Like it's RPS, like it's rock paper scissors, but it's also weighted completely, right? Like you want to use this button, and everyone knows you want to use this button. So now you kind of have to figure out ways to make that button more useful in a way that no one's going to always be countering that option, if that makes sense.
No, and it's kind of cool too, because like this is all based on if the soul knows, right?
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
like depending on who you're playing, right? You're playing
Mm-hmm.
some scrub round one of pools. It's like, all right, he doesn't know any of this. He's just gonna press fire slash. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
gonna mash 6P and destroy him with my 6P, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to like, okay, I'm pretty far in the tournament now. Like these guys know what buttons do what. So it's like now I have to put a lot more thought and effort into like, okay, so he knows that this button does a lot of good for me, so they want to do their button that they don't press as much. So
Mm-hmm.
then like I have to think, do I want to do my game plan, or do I want to try and structure around, oh, they know that this is my game plan, so I should do something that counters my original game plan, you know?
No,
And that's
exactly.
just kind of cool too. It's like, yeah, if I'm just facing some floor 10 soul, it's like, yeah, he's going to press far slash. I press 6P, I blow him up, and we'll
Mm-hmm.
see if he learns after 3 times, you know? But when you're playing higher level player, it's like, okay, no, like now we're playing like more weighted, more complicated rock paper scissors.
Yeah, and that's kind of like where like the term like tower player comes from because let's say your 5K is a very non-committal button that gets you decent reward, but we have that 15% reward doesn't get you a lot, but you also have this one move that's like let's say like I don't know how much that comes out to 60, 75, 25. Say 25%. This is just random numbers. It's not me actually meaning anything. 25% move that you might do and it gets you like 80%, right? Like obviously this would never be this high for a 25% move. But for example, 80% you get off this move, right? And let's say the soul has only played against tower players that only use this move. So now their counterplay is how do I fuck this move up? But, let's say you're a more structured player, you're going to use 5K a lot more, right? You're going to choose this 5K a lot more. So Soul's probably going to RPSing around this because they're like, okay, most Maze, in his eyes, this is a 50%, maybe 50, maybe more, maybe less, right? In his eyes, this is a 50%. He might be RPSing around this. He probably doesn't play Maze that, use this at all. He probably thinks this is like 30%. He doesn't really have to care about 5K too much, right? Because he just doesn't know any better. But again, like as you play better and better players, these realizations of what characters use round start become a little more visible to them. Like, okay, they're gonna probably like Bryken, right? They're probably going to Ram, right? They're or May. Like you saw on it, which is a great Ram player, use 6P against May like 7 out of the 10 round starts they had, right? Well, that's because a lot of Maze and a lot of Maze options will lose to 6P. Dolphin, Far Slash, maybe just jump in, right? So the May had to structure their whole plan around beating 6P, right? Because they saw that they were presenting 6P a lot and they wouldn't stop presenting 6P. So Maze had to do jump, air dash back, 2S, delay Far Slash, stuff like that. So like yeah, like maybe May, Far Slash, and 6P are really fucking good, but they're going to lose to Ram 6P no matter what, right? So then, since the May got presented with that option, like, okay, this option I want to use a lot of the time keeps getting beat, I have to go for something a little more challenging, right? So like level 2 approach, maybe, which is just 15%, and I have to do, more 2S, more jump, delay jumpings to beat 6P timings and stuff like that. So like that's kind of like how they thought about it. Again, this is pretty deep, and like you don't actually have to think about RPS like this round start at all. I just want to present that like you should be kind of more structured in how you kind of think about your round starts and like, okay, these are my good options. Let me use my good options first. Then once they start presenting options to beat my good options, then I could start thinking about it. That's when you go back into the lab. What do I use once they start presenting X option against me around start, right? Like that's when you want to go back into the lab. That's when you want to ask people questions because you're not going to know maybe level 2 of someone's game plan, right? Because that's hard, right? Like the soul never knew, 5K existed or whatever. He was just playing maze or just, sending it round start. So like that's when you want to ask people like, what the fuck do I do against this button because it beats my good round starts and I couldn't figure out something against it. Well, then you could go to the lab and figure it out yourself. And like, that's kind of like how you want to approach like learning how to structure your round starts. Because a lot of, once you do get into Celestial and you do start fighting better and better players, that's what's going through their head. They're weighing your options, knowing which ones you pick all the time, and presenting options around that, while like not trying to get smoked by your counter options. So they're just kind of like weighing the RPS, and that's like it is RPS, but it's also pretty weighted, and like they're making those decisions on the fly. Any questions around that?
No, I don't think so. I think